We're in today with the Geforce 310. This is a 2009 video card with 16 shaders, 512 megabytes of DDR3 Samsung at 64 bits bus width. This video card is running with 589 megahertz on the core clock and 790 megahertz on the memory clock. We're gonna pair it up with this i7 4th gen with 4 cores and 8 threads. And we're gonna see how this old video card is running in a couple of old games. Let's jump in. Let's start with Modern Warfare 3 and see how it's running on 1080p with low jitters. You can actually see that the GPU is doing the job. Maximum core load on this video card. On the CPU side, apparently we are using less than 10% load on the CPU, and I will say this is a very adequate performance from this i7. I mean, it clearly shows that you can put older computers, older CPUs in the PC with this video card, and you can still have a decent performance with the video card. In Modern Warfare 3, apparently we are getting around 90 FPS on low jitters. I will say this is a win for this video card considering the age of the video card and the performance that this video card is offering in this game. I will say, yeah, this is a must game because it's offering the performance with 80-90 FPS on average, and 16 on minimals and 59 on 1%. This is not bad considering it's only using 200 megabytes of VRAM from this GPU, so I will say this is a win. But in Team Fortress, we need to see some better results here with this video card. I will keep this on the left side because I want to see the performance overall. Oh yeah, burn them! I wanted to see the performance here with 720p on low jitters with this video card because I think this is the resolution that needs to be played on, seriously. So 60-70 FPS on average, 19 minimals and 40 on 1%. The core is maxed out, the VRAM is not utilized apparently. It's only 0.3 gig of VRAM utilized in this game with this video card. The system itself, it's using 5.3 gig of system RAM, and the CPU is barely utilizing. Based on the temperature that I have, the cores are not being utilized. So I would say this is a big win for the system itself, but for the video card, it's running around 62 degrees and it's utilizing the core at maximum, so the core is being utilized. Yeah, it's very surprising that the GPU is still holding in a couple of games online. It's a Geforce 310, seriously. Yeah, I know. Geforce 210, it's next to it. In the old Counter-Strike, apparently we are getting 70 FPS on average with 15 minimals and 26 on 1%. This is the game that needs to be played on this video card. It's utilizing only 0.3 gig of VRAM and maximum core load on the video card. I will say this is a big win for the video card because it's running at 62 degrees. It's not fully stressed around the GPU. So on the VRAM side, it's okay. Only on the core, so this is 720p, and if you want I think lower resolution, it will be even better. It depends on the quality you want, and that's it. I will not say that there are not games that you can play on this video card, considering the system I have that is using only 30% load on the CPU, and it's running around 55 degrees on the CPU. I will say this is a fairly good game on this occasion. You know, so only 3.7 gig of system RAM. I mean, if you put this game in an 8 gig system RAM machine, I will say this is okay. If you want to play GTA 5, apparently you're gonna get around 30 FPS on average with 23 minimals and 30 on 1%. I don't think those numbers will stay there because I'm sitting with the car and I'm driving, but overall the performance in GTA 5 is kind of bad, and it's not playable. I got 800 by 600 and 0.5 render scale. This is, I will say, this is a very bad performance overall, but if you do want to play GTA, I think an older title will be more adequate. The average here is kind of interesting. Actually, let me see this. What do I have here? 0.4 gig of VRAM utilized and maximum core. I will say the GPU it's bottleneck here because of the GPU score. Even if I had the opportunity to put higher clock speed because it's nearly 600 megahertz on the core clock, and with that VRAM, I think I would have had even more problems because it's DDR. It's not even GDDR in order to get better performance. those video cards that have GDDR memory, they have faster core. So in this case, you can actually understand that this GeForce 310, it's low-end GPU, you know, that is used for small form factor computers or low-profile computers that are meant for office work and not gaming. This is how it's performing. But in Paladins, we are getting around 50 FPS on 1080p with lowest details with 50% render scale. Hopefully in the battle it will be okay, but I can actually see now that here you're getting around 40 FPS on average, 21 minimals and 27 on 1%. Yeah, I don't think there is a big chance I can play Paladins with this. But the system is being utilized properly. Look at that. 40-50% load on the CPU with 5.4 gig of system RAM used. Even the temperature on the CPU is good, so I will say this is a good experience in Paladins with this GPU and CPU. I mean, overall, look at that. No, I'm not chicken. Look, I'm a little chicken. I mean, overall performance is okay, you know, 40 FPS. This shows me that I need to lower the resolution in order to get more FPS. With this video card, I need better minimals and 1%. That's the only way you can do it with 720p. This is 1080p, and I think you're gonna get 50-60 FPS on average if you use that resolution and performance. But in World of Tanks with 1024 with minimal details, apparently we are getting around 30-40 FPS. I mean, it's World of Tanks, you know, but it's to remember it's a GeForce 310 and can expect performance from this video card. So I will say if it goes around 30 FPS, it's a big win. And in some cases, if I zoom out, you can actually see it's getting nearly 40 FPS. So I will say this is a big win. So the core is maxed out. 0.3 gig of VRAM and 65 degrees on the core. That is getting hot, you know, for a very small video card like this, getting 65 degrees, I will say that's not okay, you know. On the system itself, 5.6 gig of system RAM from 16 and 30-40% load on the CPU load on the core. I will say it's a decent experience with the CPU considering the age of the CPU and the game, and it's actually doable. It's actually playable. Imagine having a video card with 10. You'll get around maximum 30 FPS with 14, 17 on minimals and 20 on 1%. 310 in World of Tanks, kind of hard to play, seriously. But if you really want to make this video card shine, I think the only way you can do it is by playing old titles like Mafia. The performance is good in Mafia. This is the right game to play. Averaging really nice on 60 FPS. I can't see the minimals, but the frame time is kind of good on overall because there's no spikes in the game with this system. The GPU is doing a fantastic job in this situation with 70-80% load on the core. It's not being utilized too much, and damn. And I think in this situation you can see that the GeForce 310 in this game is doing a fantastic job. I think on overall this video card needs to be in a retro gaming machine in order to benefit from this video card, in order to use this video card for good. You can actually see that with online games is not doing a fantastic work, but with older titles this GPU is doing fantastic. 70% load on the core, 59 degrees on the temperature of the core, around 60 degrees on the core temperature, nearly 600 megahertz on the core clock. I will say overall performance is good. It's using 256 megabytes of VRAM in order to deliver this quality because the game is set up on 1080p with maximum details. In this occasion, the CPU and the system is barely used. An i7 apparently it's an overkill for this game. It's using 4% load on this i7. 13 watts consumption from the CPU. Come on. It's actually ideal. But in Left 4 Dead, you will have the opportunity to play this game with 1080p on low details with 41 FPS. Working really nice here, and I think if you want to get more FPS, this is one way to do it. It's by lowering the resolution. 40 FPS on average with good MS. I think this is a good MS, and you can actually see that even on low details, it looks fantastic. So there's not a lot of spikes in the frame time. On the core, we are getting maximum load on the video card. Not gonna lie, it's not very ideal with 1080p because it's not 60 FPS, and I want 60 FPS. And the GPU is on 99% core load. Damn. But it's working. On the VRAM side, apparently, we are getting this performance 44 FPS with 178 megabytes of VRAM utilized here. On the CPU side, we're getting like 30% load on the CPU with 3.3 gig of system RAM utilized and nearly 40 watts consumption from the CPU. I mean, the CPU is being utilized in this case, and 30-40 FPS is working. You got the options with Left 4 Dead here, and I think overall case it's kind of good. But in GTR on 1024, I mean it's nearly the lowest resolution, you can actually get playable FPS with this video card, and it's kind of fascinating because I never thought this game can actually work with Geforce 310. On the GPU side, apparently we are getting maximum load on the core with this video card, and 96% load on the core. It's making 62 degrees on the temperature. On the VRAM side, we are utilizing over 200 megabytes of VRAM, 257, and at this stage we're getting over 100 FPS on average. System side, with the CPU, we're getting less than 10% load on the CPU, and I think this is okay if you're interested on slapping this game in an older machine and maybe getting an old vintage racing wheel or a console. I don't know, but if you're interested in that, I think this is possible to do because the game is actually working with this old video card. But if you do want to play a proper game with this video card, I think Fallout New Vegas is one of those games that need to be added on the list. 60 FPS, 720p on average. I think this resolution is ideal. You can increase the details if you want, or put a lower resolution with higher quality in the details, but you will get decent performance with this GeForce 310. You can actually see that it's holding pretty well. New Vegas, it's one of those games that needs to be played because it's working really nice with this hardware. See that the core it's utilized around 80% load, and I will say it's fairly decent loaded. On the VRAM side, less than 200 megabytes of VRAM. It's kind of good. The details are not okay on low details. I think this game needs to have higher details because it's a fantastic game and it makes the whole environment look fantastic. I will say overall, Fallout New Vegas needs to be played on this, and it runs even better with older system. Look at this. On the CPU side, we get 10-15% load on the CPU, less than 20 watts consumption, 40 degrees, around 40 degrees, 3.4 gig of system RAM utilized. It's not that bad, it's not that bad when it comes to an old video card like this. I really try my best to find some games that actually works online on this video card. I really try my best to find some games that actually works really nice on this video card, and to make a balance in between, because it's still possible to use this video card in an older machine. It's still possible to restore an old computer and use a video card like this, depending on what you want to do. I think office work with some old titles will be fantastic. I think you can restore an old computer because this is a one slot unit video card and it's low profile. You can put big or small bracket for this video card. If you manage to find it useful, if you manage to find it entertaining, please make sure you smash that like button. If you have any suggestion in the future, leave a comment, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you soon.